Okay, awesome. So let's start quickly, with a quick questionnaire on the last week's session. So last week we were discussing about PRPC and BPM, and we spoke about the various studios we have in Pega. Okay, so let's quickly, pull out one person and see how far they were able to go to the recording. Mhm. I'm just checking people who have enrolled earlier than somebody, who enrolled in the last couple of days. So let me just check. Uh, Adnan, are you in? Adnan, can you hear me? Okay. So
Yeah,
Adnan, can
I'm
you?
telling with Nikhila.
Yes, you are audible. I just want to ask you a
Yeah.
question. So did you go get a chance to
Yeah.
go to the various studios that we have in Pega?
Yes, yes.
So can you talk about it once? What are the various studios we have? The use of each one of
Yeah,
them.
App Studio. Yeah,
Mhm.
App Studio, Dev Studio, and one more.
Actually, there were four studios, not one more, two more.
Yes, sorry, yes, yes. I forgot those two names.
Okay. Let me pull somebody else. Avnish Chauhan.
Can I?
Yeah, please. Who is that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, this is
Uh,
Yami.
so
Okay. Yeah.
can I?
Yeah. Let Avinash go ahead. Avinash, yeah, please go ahead.
So there are four studio.
Uh-huh.
Okay, like one is Dev Studio, Admin, App, and Production
Okay.
Studio.
Okay. Let's go with
Right.
Yamini. Yamini, can you talk about the use of Dev and App Studios? Who uses it?
Uh, Dev and App Studio,
Mm-hmm.
Nikhila. Yeah,
Yes.
Dev Studio is for developers to create the codes and the rules, and App Studio for technical, non-technical people like the BA managers to create the backgrounds, workflows, operators, access groups like that.
Okay. So let's go with Prajakta. Prajakta, can you tell me about the admin studio and the prediction studio? Prajakta, are you there? Are you in the session?
Can I, Nikhila? Sneha here.
Allow me a minute. I'm just waiting for Prajakta to respond. If she doesn't, yeah, please. Prajakta, are you in? So please text me if you're, you have some microphone issues or something. Please text me. Okay. Sneha, please go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. The use of admin studio is in order to create any admin access and for in order to get the details about the job schedulers, queue processes, and any admin related stuff we can see in the admin studio. Whereas prediction studio is for the data scientists and some robotic automations and all. But we usually use the above three studios, but prediction studio pretty much not sure. But for data scientists and all, we use the prediction
Okay.
studios.
Just adding something on top of the admin studio. Sneha, admin studio, you have to answer that, we use admin studio for a lot of things like you deal with the requesters, you deal with the nodes, you deal with the servers, you deal with the background processing, you deal with the broken queues, you deal with the file listeners. So you can mention a lot of options. Okay. Just try to mention
Okay.
as many as possible. So you can do a
Okay.
lot of
Okay.
things on the admin studio. So both developers and admins may make use of admin studio, but theoretically saying it's for admins, but even developers use it in real time to deal with few things. Okay. Uh,
Okay.
yeah. Thanks, Neha. Prajakta, are you in? Are you not there? Okay.
Hi,
Are you
Nikhila.
there? I was
I
asking
was
you a
just
question.
Yes, I was facing issue with my
Okay.
microphone. That's why I have pinged you on WhatsApp.
Oh, okay, okay. I don't check my phone during the session because it distracts me. So I didn't check that.
O-
Okay, fine,
Okay, okay.
Prajakta. Okay, okay.
So,
No, we are
Nikhila,
done.
admin
Anyway,
studio.
we
Oh,
are done, Project. That's okay. That's okay.
okay, okay.
Um, let's go to another person. Guys, please make sure you listen to the recordings before the session so that you answer me in the session. You know, rather than giving a wrong answer or just being on mute. Um, VV Suresh, can you tell me what is Pega?
Yeah, hi, Nikhila. Good morning.
Hey Suresh.
So one of the CRM application, or maybe one of the business process management application,
Mm-hmm.
which gives the we can able to build the application when compared with the other legacy applications like mobile or maybe some other technology. We can able to build this Pega application much faster than the other applications or maybe other technology. And also it may help to some kind of extent, right? Not only for the technical background people and also for the non-technical, as a citizen developers also can able to go through this Pega
Mm-hmm.
system. Mainly, I can able to tell one of the business process management, which will be helpful for the domains like health services, banking, and customer relation management systems. Some of the examples for the Pega.
Okay, Suresh, you have an idea, but you are not able to phrase the answer properly. Okay, don't get offended, but
Right.
I want to correct you. See, let me say, if somebody
Mhm.
asks you what is Pega, first tell them that it's a BPM tool. Okay, and then tell them that it is a product which was built on top of Java. Okay, so you have to talk like how
Okay.
it was built. So it is built on top of Java, and then just tell them like it's a no coding or a low coding tool, and then you can
Mhm.
say that we use it to build web apps and mobile apps, and then you can say
Mhm.
it's mostly used in various areas like healthcare, banking, and all. That's how you have to come. So first it's a BPM tool, and then it is
Yeah.
built
Right.
using Java. Okay, and then tell that
Mhm.
it's a no coding tool, and then you can just say it's a product from Pega Systems, and you build web apps and mobile apps. It's mostly used in intranet applications. It is a BPM
Mhm.
tool. The most important thing, it's a BPM tool. So as it is a BPM tool, and it is mostly driven by the workflows. Okay, so just add all those
Okay.
points. Just the sequence should be properly done.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's it, guys. We didn't talk much about it in the last session. So let's move ahead. Now, for tomorrow's session, you have to go to the recording of last session plus today's session so that you'll have a question around both the sessions. Okay. So this way, every session, make sure from day one to day end, you keep watching all the recordings so that you will be in a position to answer the questions. Let's move ahead. Actually, I missed writing about the next topic here. The next topic is all about operators and their security in Pega. Okay. So next topic, operators. So who is an operator? Any person who can access a Pega application, we call them as an operator of Pega. Any person who is accessing the Pega project, we call them as an operator of Pega. Now let's take an example. Don't look at this. Let's take an example. Okay. Take any website. Okay. Take any website. Like, let's say you want to take a website like GoIBibo. Okay. So if I want to book something in GoIBibo, what am I supposed to do? First, I have to go and register myself, right? Only if I register myself, I will have a username and a password so that I can log in, book anything, whatever I want. Similarly, I want to access Amazon or Mintra or Instagram or Facebook. Whenever you want to access any application, the thing that you have to do is first register yourself. So after registration, what do you get? A username and a password. And next time you keep logging in with the username and password to access that particular application. Similarly, in Pega, when you join a new project in a company, the first thing your team is going to do is register yourself in the Pega application. Then they are going to give you a username and a password so that you can access that application down the line. Okay, so that is nothing but operator ID in Pega. Operator ID in Pega is nothing but it's all the data about the operator. So what data do they store? What do they store when you register here? They store your first name, last name, email ID, phone number, some personal information like country, state, XYZ things. They store it, right? Similarly in Pega, when they register a new operator, it'll ask you some personal information like first name, last name, email ID, photograph, all those things it is going to ask you. Okay. And of course, some additional information like who is your reporting manager, which company, which domain, working for, all those things, which team you belong to, all those things we are going to fill when you create a new operator ID in Pega. Let me show you how we do that. I'm just logging into an existing project to show you how we create operators. Okay. Now, if I want to create an operator, okay, don't worry about the navigation. I will be teaching you all these things. Suppose I'm doing it for, let's say I'm doing it for Gmail. So that's my username. Nikhila@gmail.com is my username. Now you have to fill your personal information first. So it's asking you the title, Mr., Mrs., Miss, whatever it is, the first name, the last name, the full name, your designation, your contact, email. We'll come back to this. Your time zone. Then your which company, which division, which unit, which team, who is the reporting manager, what are your skills, you know, any planned holidays, replacement in your planned holidays, and finally your password and some more extra stuff related to your password. Okay, so this is what you fill when you create an operator ID in Pega. So what is the purpose of operator ID? Just to grant you access to a project. So if Sneha joined a project in a company, her team is going to create an operator ID for her like sneha@xyz.com and give it to her. The username and the password they're going to give so that she can log in into the project and start working on the project. Okay, Yashwant joined a new company. What will they do? They will create a new operator ID for him. Yashwant at some application.com, Yashwant at yahoo.com, Yashwant at facebook.com, whatever it is. They'll create an operator ID and they will give the username and password to him so that he can access the application. So operator ID in Pega is nothing but registering yourself into the application so that you can access that application. Okay. Now what data it contains? Just some personal information and some work related information and finally your password. That's it. History. Every rule, every data instance in Pega will have history. History means why did you create it? When did you create it? Where are you using it? You have to write down. Just write down for your future reference, just documenting it. That's it. Okay. So this is operator ID in Pega. Operator ID is nothing but you register yourself into the application and you will have an operator ID and a password to access that application. Now, does Pega store this information? Of course. See, if you go to GoIBibo or if you go to Amazon or if you go to any website and you register yourself, is that data not stored? It is stored, right? It is stored. They store the data. And next time when you log in, they validate that information. They start sending OTPs. They use two-factor authentications. So they store all your data. So where is that getting stored in Pega? In Pega, your operator information is stored under a table called as PR underscore operators. Extremely important from interview point of view. Okay. So PR underscore is the name of the table where the operator's information is getting stored in Pega. So let me pull that table in the database. Don't worry about the navigations. I'll teach you down the lane. Okay, so this is the table PR underscore operators. This is my database PG SQL. Okay, in real time you can use whatever database you want. Okay, we'll talk about the database and those things later on. For now, just understand that operators are stored in a table called as PR underscore operators. Okay, PR means Pega rules. It's a built-in table of Pega. Go to any project, everybody will store their operators in the same table. It doesn't change from project to project. No, it's a default table of Pega. So if you belong to X project and I belong to Y project, still you will have your own PR underscore operators table where you store your project operator details. I will have my own PR underscore operators table where I store my own project operators details. So the table name remains the same if you're working on Pega. Maybe you're working on X project and I'm working on Y project, but the table name remains the same. In your project, you'll have PR underscore operators. In my project, I will have PR underscore operators, which holds my operators data. Next, what are the columns present in the PR underscore operators table? You will have a lot of columns. Okay, see whatever you filled on the screen, you will see here. You can see the title, Mr., Mrs., and all. Okay, the last name, the first name, is the operator deactivated, locale. Okay, then you can see the telephone number. Like this, a lot of info will be stored about you. Whatever you filled on the screen, your username, your this one login credentials. Okay, reporting manager, organization, division, unit. Like this, every single thing that you filled on the screen is stored here. Like this. Okay, so once again, what is an operator ID? It is nothing but a set of credentials. Okay, to access Pega's application, and it is stored in a table called as PR underscore operators. So when someone joins the project, the first thing that we do is create an operator ID for him. So do we create an operator ID directly from the database? No. What I meant is like, can I go ahead and add a new record here for the new person who joined my company and enter the data? No, 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 no. We don't create operator IDs like this. Okay, suppose I already have 100 operators in my table. Somebody joined my company. Okay, can I go ahead and insert 101 record here for that person? No, no, you shouldn't do that way. Then how do we create operators in Pega? From the dev studio only we do it. From here, from the dev studio only, you have to create. I'll teach you how to create operators later on, but from the dev studio we create operators. We do not directly go to the database and insert records. That we are not supposed to do. Okay, so in order to create an operator, you have to come to the dev studio and you can create from here. We create it. Okay, so from here you have to create, you have to fill all the information and click on the save button. When you click on the save button, Pega will automatically insert a record in the table. Only when you click a save button, Pega automatically inserts a record in the table. Okay, so why I should not create directly in the database? End of the day, if you enter the information here, it is coming into the database, right? So why can't I go and insert a new record here and enter the data? The reason is, if you see here, okay, do you see there's a column called as PZPV stream? Okay, and it has binary data, means non-readable format. Okay, the data in this is non-readable format. Okay, now this column is extremely important. It contains all the data about your operator. Okay, but you can't read the data because it is in blob, binary large object. Okay, it's stored in binary format, so it's a non-readable format. Okay, now the problem is, if you want to create an operator ID from the database, okay, if you go here and say insert new record, okay, like this, where is that? You get some options here to insert a record, query tool. Hmm. If you write down some query to insert a new record, then that is not the best way to create an operator in Pega. Because if you create like this, you cannot enter data in this PZ stream column. Okay, it's a blob column. You can't enter data in that. Okay, so that is the reason if you create an operator ID directly from the database, it will not work. So you have to create from the Pega Dev Studio only. Okay, so this is important to know from your interview point of view, because people ask you questions in the interview saying that how can I create bulk operators in Pega? Like, let's say, for example, I have started the project new. I want to create 10,000 bulk operators. Okay. Now you may think that, instead of creating manually from here 10,000 times, clicking like this and creating, you think that why don't we, write down a query and run it from the database? But this way it is not going to work, because this column contains blob data and you cannot insert data in this column. So it's not going to work. So everybody has to create an operator ID from the dev portal only. And answer to this question, how can we create bulk operators? I'll teach you later. Okay?
Nikhila, hello,
Yes,
Nikhila.
yes, please.
This is Nagaraj. Nikhila, like, if that is the case, then like in this table, you're already insert, option is there. Like, if that is not advisable, then why they have put the insert option?
Insert option is not specific to this table, right? It's not specific to
Hmm.
this table. Database has the option for all its tables. It's database.
So, okay, okay,
So
but
whatever table you
you said,
take, you. Hmm.
yeah, yeah, as you're saying that it is not advisable to do that.
Mm-hmm.
If in the real scenario, like if there are 10,000 operators are there, like how to, because
I'll answer that. I'll
everything
answer
is
that. So there is a concept called
okay.
as file listeners. Like, you can read the data from the file, dump all the data into an Excel sheet and read it. So using that we do.
Okay, okay. You will upload the data from the okay.
From the Dev Studio only, Pega Dev Studio only, we upload the data and we process it.
Okay. Sorry, yeah. Thank you.
No problem. Okay. So let me complete this topic, guys, and you can ask any questions that you have. So once again, a quick recap. Who is an operator? Any person who can access the Pega project is called as an operator. So he will have a username and a password to log into the application and to access it. Now, what does an operator ID contain? Some personal information, some professional information, and your password details. Most importantly, in which table is this stored? In PR underscore operators, Pega's default table. All the data is getting stored. Okay. Now, only administrators can create, update, or delete new operators. Please remember this. Okay. Only admins can create, update, or delete the operators. Other people cannot do it. Okay. Only admins. How do you determine he is an admin or not? Now let's see what is the next important thing. So we'll talk about how do you determine whether he is an admin or not. Before that, let me take any operator. Okay. Where can I find all the operators in my current project? So if you want to see all the operators in your current project, you have to go to Records Explorer, Organization Category, Operators. Okay. So here you can see all the operators. So if one of your colleague came and said, "Hey Nikhila, I'm not able to log in. Can you please update my password, or can you please delete my operator and recreate? Or can you please check what is there in my operator?" So what I can do is I can go to Records Explorer, Organization, Operator ID, open his operator ID and see what is the issue. Okay. Or if I want to update anything here, I can update it. If I want to change his password, I can change it. So if you want to see other person's operator IDs, you can just come here and you can check. If you want to see your current operator ID, you can check here. This is my profile. So you can check my operator ID here, here. Okay. So once again, a quick recap. Operator ID. any person who has access to the project will have an operator ID. Operator ID is nothing but a username and a password to access that project. Now, what exactly they store in the database? Your personal info, your work related info, and your password they store in the database. Now, as you're talking about the database, you need to know the table name, which is PR underscore operators. Next, where can I see all the operators? Under Records Explorer, Organization category, Operator ID, you can list all the operators. And can I change any operator ID? Like, can I delete it, update it, create new? If and only if you are an administrator, you can do that. If you're not an administrator, you can't do all those things. You will get an error here. Edit update is not allowed because you're not an admin. Okay. Any questions
Nicholas, quick
so far?
question.
Yes, please.
Uh, what is the difference between this operator ID screen in the records versus the table? Both should have the same operators, correct?
Which one you're asking? Operator ID from this one and which one?
The table where you have the operators that
Oh,
you
both
explained.
are one and the same. So once you click on the save button, all this information is getting into the database. So this is the database where all the data is getting stored. It's a table
Okay.
where they store the data.
Here also, can I look at the operator IDs or
Oh
something, or
yes,
everything
everything you
blocked?
can see. No. Everything you can see. Like if you keep scrolling, you can see all that.
So if I need to know
You can
what are
see
the
the
list
username.
of operators, I have two
Yeah,
places, right? I can
yeah. You can check it
all
two
that.
places. Either you can check from the DB or you can check from this one. So you can see all this,
And,
these are the login IDs.
one more question, Nikhil. Is this the only table, or are there any related
No, only
tables where?
table. Only table where we store the operators. And the table name remains the same for any Pega project.
So when you create from the screen, this is the only table where a database entry is made.
Exactly.
Okay. And one last question. When you log in and log out, do you have that audit information stored somewhere in the
Yeah, they
system?
store the last sign in and last this thing information somewhere here. There is a column which stores the
But
last,
not the complete history.
not the complete thing. Only the
Okay.
last, log out thing they store it. When was it last used? Somewhere here there's a column which stores that info. Yeah, you can see last sign on.
Got it.
So
Thanks.
for each operator, they maintain that. Okay. So
Yeah,
how?
hi Nikla.
Hello.
Yeah, actually I have a question so in a single project we have like admin, dev, everyone, right? So if
Mhm.
a new person joining on admin as well as in dev, so both these operators, operator ID will create an operator, PR operator table.
Mhm.
So both the persons, if admin can view that dev person operator ID and dev can view that as a single table will be using by both the admin and dev, right?
Right. One project will have only one table, irrespective of the number of users and type of users will have. One project will have only one table to maintain all the operators.
Okay.
Only thing is like
Okay, they can
admin can edit the data. You others
okay.
can only have a look of the data, view of the data. They can't edit, delete, and do all such things.
Okay. The informations we are storing is same for admin as well as dev, right?
It
There
is
is no difference
there's
between
no
the.
difference, right?
Okay.
Okay. Now,
Hello, Nikhila.
Yeah,
okay,
One,
Suresh. Yes, please go ahead.
yeah. Okay, sorry to disturb you. I mean, when we are going through Dev Studio, right? I mean, it will display the operator IDs, particularly for the tax group only, right? Not for the entire Pega application, right?
Okay. So the list of operator IDs you see here is for all the
Mm-hmm.
projects which are present on your Tomcat server. So when I installed
Oh,
Pega, okay, Tomcat server got installed, right? So all
mhm.
the projects, whatever projects I have in the server, everybody's operators I'll see here. Suppose on this server I have, you can see Go IBBO I have, and I have various other applications as well. I have Pega.com, and you can see there are various other projects. So whatever projects are present on that server, everybody's operators I can see here.
Okay, great. Got it. And there is no kind of subset is presenting here and superset is already presented in the PR underscore operator table.
No, nothing like that. You can see.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Now, so
Hello,
this,
Nikhila. Hello.
hello. Yes,
Uh, Sorry for interrupting.
no problem.
Actually, I have a question. Let's say right now I am working on more than one project, 2 or 3 projects. So for every project, uh, there is different table, right?
Every project will have its own PR underscore operators table.
Okay. So uh, now I'm working on 2 projects. So there will be two two different tables.
Right.
So and I can check both, right?
Right. We maintain separate tables because see, your user base is different, my user base is different, right? How can I mix them? Forget about you and me who are developers. Think of the production user base. When you deploy this code in production, take an example of Amazon. Amazon has Alexa also, AWS also. Just because everything comes under Amazon, they'll not have the same database, right? Because AWS users are different, Amazon Prime members are different, Alexa users are different. So they will have a data separate database. So separate operator IDs tables. They don't maintain the same thing. How can you mix all the users? It will be difficult for you to use it, right? So we don't do that.
Yes. But under one operator ID, can I do means multiple projects,
You can.
or should I have a different
No, you can do that.
operator
So
IDs?
that is next topic I'm going to cover. Under one
Oh,
operator ID,
okay.
you can map multiple projects. I'll tell you how to do that.
Oh, yes. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So
Um,
any questions on operators?
yeah, Nikhila, actually one last question. So, in the PR table, PR operators table, there will be username as well as password for a separate users, right?
Yes.
So, if anybody can view the password, means it will be not a proxy or anything like that. They can able to log in with some other ID, person's ID.
No, they can't view the password, right? Password is stored in a kind of hidden data structure, so it's not visible.
Oh, okay. Okay, I thought like
No, no.
only operator.
Nobody
Okay.
can see the password. No secure data, we
Hi,
store it in
Nikhil.
a visible format. Yeah, please.
Yeah, in production, generally users were reporting like they are unable to log into the application. So where can we see that after certain number of days, the user operator ID got disabled? That kind of information, where can we see?
No, you can't see after how many days it got disabled and all those things. You can you can either see from the database or from the Pega window. So if it is in the Pega Dev Studio, records, organization, operator. So let's say this guy is complaining that he is not able to log in. Open his operator ID, go to security. See if it is by any chance disabled. Maybe if it is disabled, he can't log in. Okay, so you can just enable it or disable it and save your changes. That's it. So you
Okay,
can see it
thank you.
from the database also, but as I told you, we don't make any changes directly in the database table. We make all the changes from the Dev Studio only. We don't do from here. Okay. Any other questions, guys, before I move to the next one?
Hi, Nikhila.
Hello,
I
Sunita.
have a question regarding
Hmm.
operators. Though you have just recently mentioned that operators can be created only in Dev Studio,
Hmm.
as the App Studio, you have written like
Oh no, you can do it from the App
non-tech
Studio.
people.
Yes,
Like,
yes. You can create from the App
yeah,
Studio. It is like from Pega window, I meant.
okay.
From
So
the Pega window, you can
operators
create.
attributes can
Yes, you can create from the
created
App
both in
Studio as
apps.
well.
Okay, okay. Yeah, that was
See,
my doubt.
although you
Thank you.
have a privilege here, in real time, nobody sits in the App Studio. See, App Studio is meant for managers and business analysts. You don't expect a manager and a business analyst to come and do all these kind of things, creating operators and access. They just gave you a privilege, but nobody does it in real time. Okay, so you can create from here.
Okay,
You can create an operator and access group from this users. You can do that.
okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Nikhila, I have a question.
Mhm.
So, Nikhila, like most of the times, like once we create the operator ID, we by default the password will be the rules, right?
No, 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 no.
So,
Who said that is not the case? That was the case in very low versions of Pega, Pega 6 and all. Starting from Pega 7, whenever you create a new operator ID, you have to give your password, update password, and you have to give it. Even in Pega 6, only when you're building a new application, when the operators are auto generated, they used to give rules. Now, starting from Pega 7, when you auto generate the operators, when you build a new project, okay, they give some random password. It's like A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z, something auto generate they're giving. And when you log in for the next time, you have to update your password. It is mandatory that you have to change your password. So that's not the case. It's not
okay,
rules now.
okay, okay,
They will send to the password to the registered mail ID.
No, actually, we have an option to send it, but we don't do all such kind of things in real time. When you update the password, you know what is the password, right? So you have to remember and log in. And one more thing, guys, not too much to discuss right now, but generally in real time, we'll have single sign-ons. So single sign-on means when you unlock your office laptop, whatever username and password you give, that will be used to log in into all your Pega projects or any company-related applications, even a leave application, a payroll application, everything they use the same username and password. So in real time, when you're logging into Pega project, actually you don't give any username and password. You just hit this URL and directly your studios will come. Okay. So how does Pega validate it? We have single sign-on. So whenever you give username and password to unlock your office laptop, they capture that credentials and they use it to allow you to log into all the company projects. Not only Pega project, leave application, payroll application, any kind of company project, they use the same credentials. So never ever in a real time you enter your username and password for your Pega projects. It's a single sign-on. Then if you don't enter username and password, what is the use of creating this operator ID? So this operator ID they used to validate like whatever credentials you gave while unlocking your laptop versus whatever operator ID you have in the Pega database. They compare, they validate, and do all those sort of things, and then they allow you to log in. But you don't enter anything on the Pega login screen. Now, even the login screen doesn't appear to you. Okay, it's only during your
Okay.
POCs you see all the login screens and all.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Now, please pause your questions. We'll come back to the questionnaire again. Let's move ahead. The next most important thing. Okay, next most important thing is like somebody was asking me, Nikhila, can I map multiple projects to the same operator ID? Okay. Let's say, for example, I'm a manager. Okay. And I'm managing like 4 or 5 Pega projects. Will I be creating 5 operators like Nikhila at GoIBibo, Nikhila at Mintra, Nikhila at Amazon, Nikhila? No. So that is not the case in real time. Okay. So if all your 5 projects are lying on the same server, okay, same server machine, if all your 5 projects were created on the same server machine, so what we do is under the same operator, you can have multiple access groups. Okay, so you can have multiple access groups. I'll tell you what an access group is. So like this, I can map. Just a second. Sorry for the interruption. Okay, so you have to map multiple access groups. Like Nikhila wants to access GoIBibo, Nikhila wants to access DM sample project, and Nikhila wants to access Pega DM project. So like this, as many projects as you want to access, we add multiple access groups. Okay. So till now you were only learning how can a user access the application. Okay. So I told that you have to create an operator ID to register yourself into the application, then you start accessing it. Now, if there are multiple applications of the same server machine, how can I get access to all of them? Okay, or at least a few of them. How do you get access? The answer is simple. Add multiple access groups. Just like how you access, suppose if you log into your Gmail, okay, you will have an option to access YouTube, Google Drive, Google My Business, Google Docs, Google Photos. You can access all these things with the same username and password, right? Just like, let me pause my screen and show you. Just a moment. I'm just trying to get into any Google things. Yes, let me share my screen. Okay. So right now you can see I'm in Gmail. Okay. I gave my username and password and I log into this application. So I created an operator ID to log into this application. So I have username and password to log into this application. Now with same username and password, they gave me access to Google Drive, Google Chat, News, YouTube, Maps, Search, Business, Play Store, and multiple applications. So they gave me access to multiple applications with the same username and password, right? So how can you do this in Pega? Simple. For your username and password, just map multiple access groups. As many access groups as you want, you can map like this. But you have to make sure that all these projects, okay, are on the same server. If they're on a different server, you can't. So all these projects should be on the same server. Then for the same username and password, I can map multiple projects like this. Like this, you can map. Okay. So one operator can access multiple projects by having multiple access groups. Access groups. Okay. Now what is present inside the access group? How is it granting me access to various projects? Let's have a look at it. You can just click on the access group and there's a crosshair icon at the corner. Do you see this crosshair icon? Wherever you see this icon, it means you can open it. So I can open Go IBBO authors access group like this. Similarly, I can open Pega DM access group like this. Now what is present inside the access group? The first thing is project name. Which project you want to access? Go IBBO. Which project you want to access? Pega DM. Which project you want to access? Pega rules. So the first most important thing you see inside the access group is which project and the version of the project. Okay, just like how you have versions for every app. WhatsApp, you have multiple versions. Instagram, you have multiple versions. So every app will have a lot of versions, right? Similarly, app and its version, app and its version, app and its version. Okay. So one operator can get access to multiple projects by using multiple access groups. Please make sure that all the projects are present to the same server. Only then you can get it. Now what exactly is present in the access group? Just the project name. So if you have this access group, you get access to this project. If an operator has this access group, he will get access to this project. If an operator has access to this access group, he will get access to this project. So simple. Access group contains which project you can access. That's it. So if one operator wants access to multiple projects, just map him multiple access groups. So if you take the example of this one, for the same username and password, they mapped me this many access groups. Okay, so one access group for maps, one for YouTube, one for Gmail, one for Meet, one for contacts. So this many access groups are mapped to my single operator ID. Now, what else do you have inside the access group? I have portals. One most important thing, guys, see, under one access group, you can have only one application. Frequently asked interview question, they ask you like, can I map multiple applications under an access group? No, it's only one access group, one project. Okay, under one access group, you can have only one application or one project. Now, what else do you give? You give portal. Why am I giving a portal? What is a portal actually? See, portal means when I log into a project, the screen that I see is a portal. Okay, not everybody will see the same screen, right? If you see this, if I go here and if I say YouTube, okay, because I own a channel. Okay, I own a channel, so my screen will be different. Now the same channel, if you are viewing, your screen will be different because you are a user of my channel. Okay, I am the owner of that channel, so the screen will be different, right? If I go to business, Google business, where is that? Okay, here my screen will be different because I have a business profile page there. If you use the same Nikhila business, you will see something different because you are a user. So although you and I watch the same application, okay, your screen will be different and my screen will be different because of the role we are playing there. I am playing a developer role or a user role or a manager role. Okay, so you may be something else. So based on the role you are playing, the screen that you see will be different. That is the reason whenever we create an access group, we also mention the portal. Means, so if a person is an author, author means BA, okay, business analyst. Who is a business analyst? A person who will connect the requirement from the client and give it to the developer. Okay, so if he is a business analyst, does he need dev portal? No, business analyst will not do any coding, so not required. So business analyst will need this portal. This is App Studio. Okay, Express means App Studio. So we give this. Suppose this guy is a manager. I will give him manager portal. Suppose this guy is a user. I will give him user portal. Okay. Portal is nothing but the web page that you see after you log in. Okay. Now I am the end user of Gmail. Will they give me developer portal? What will I do if they give me developer portal? Nothing. If I know the code, I'll just crash it. That's it. So nothing I'll do, right? So if I'm an end user, they have to give me user portal. If you're a developer, they should give you developer portal. If somebody else is a manager, they should give you manager portal. So what does an access group contain? It contains application name and the portal that a user can see upon logging in. Okay. Just give me 1 second, guys. Just give me 1 second. I'll be back. Sorry for the interruption. I'm back. So this is what we contain inside a access group. So access group means it will tell you, okay, which project you can access. Fine. You and I access the same project, but maybe you are a manager and maybe I'm a developer. So the portal should be different, right? So you will have a different portal and I'll have a different portal. Okay. So what does an access group contain? It's very important. It contains the project that you want to access. It contains the portal that I want to show to you, and roles. We'll come back to roles. Okay. Now, because you and I work on the same project, but I being a developer and you being a manager should see different portals, then how can I use the same access group for both of us? I can't use the same thing. So what we do in real time is, if you see here, I have manager at goibibo.com, I have Nikhila at goibibo.com. Let me open and see the access groups. See, Nikhila has goibibo colon authors. Manager has goibibo colon manager access group. So we'll have different access groups for the same project. So go IBIBO colon authors, go IBIBO colon managers, go IBIBO colon users, go IBIBO colon testers, go IBIBO colon something else, reviewers, go IBIBO colon approvers. So based on the role in the project, we will create different access groups. Why? This is also go IBIBO. This is also go IBIBO. Then why two different access groups? The portal is different. This person has no, like this person has developer portal because he or she is a developer. This person has express portal or manager portal because they are a manager. So that is the reason every project will have multiple access groups. One for author, one for manager, one for tester, one for reviewer, one for approver. So based on the roles you have in the project, we will have multiple access groups. Okay. So if you take the same Gmail application, I will have Gmail colon users, Gmail colon developers, Gmail colon managers, Gmail colon testers. Like that, you'll have multiple access groups. Each access group will have the same application but different portal. The portal will be different. Okay. Now, why am I saying the name as Gmail colon manager, Gmail colon user? Because that is the naming convention we follow in Pega. In Pega, the name of an access group should be your project name colon the role. So project name is Gmail, colon role is user. Project name is Gmail, colon manager, Gmail, colon tester, like that. So same I have written in the document. YouTube manager, YouTube developer, something like that. Google Docs manager, Google Docs user, Google Docs, something like that. Okay. So based on your roles in the project, we create different access groups like this. Okay. Now please understand that one operator can have multiple access groups. So I am working as a developer of GoIbibo and I am also working as a manager of GoIbibo. So I will have like this. Okay. Along with GoIbibo, I am also working on a different project, maybe Pega DM, and I'm an admin. So I'll have like this. Okay. So one operator can have multiple access groups, which gives him access to same application with different portals or different applications. Now, if you get inside the access group, it contains your project name, the portal, and roles. I'll come back to roles. Okay. Can I give multiple applications under an access group? No. Can I have multiple portals? Yes. Now, why are you giving multiple portals? You said you're just a developer. Then why do you have all those things again, all these things again? Sometimes, even though you're a developer, you want to go to Admin Studio and check some things, like you want to check the logs or you want to check the background things, you want to check something. So I want access to Admin Studio as well. So I can add Admin Studio like this. Although I'm a developer, while I'm testing some code, I want to test like a manager. I have built a button which is visible only to the managers. So I want to test whether it is working or not. So I need manager portal. Like this we add. Okay. Now because you have added this, you will get Admin Studio here. Okay. And you will get manager portal here. If you remove this, Is this one second, Nikhila at GoIBibo, right? Did I log in as Nikhila at GoIBibo only? If that is the case, maybe it's not refreshing. Allow me a minute. Let me log off. See, I see only Dev Studio. I don't see other 4 studios here. Rest of the 3 studios are not visible. The reason is in your operator ID, in your access group, you have only developer portal. Rest of the studios are not there. However, the manager portal, it will come from here like this. Okay. So whatever you map here, only those portals a user can see. Now let's say, no, I want admin portal also. Save. It has to come on refresh. Okay, we have to log off and relog in. Now you can see admin portal is coming. Okay, so whatever portals you map here, only those will be visible. Now what is this radio button? So by default, what do you want to display? Let's say by default I'm giving Dev Studio. I thought no, by default I want admin studio. So save your changes, log off. See, by default admin is coming and you can switch to dev like this. By default now I give developer, re-login, dev is coming by default. Okay, so this is like how many portals you want and what do you want to be the default one we mention here. Just a quick recap. Operator ID is nothing but a username and a password to log in into the project. Every operator will have access group. Access group just tells you which project you want and which portals you want to see. And you can select one of the portals as a default portal. Please remember that one operator can have multiple access groups if you want to get access to multiple projects. Or in the same project, he can be a developer, he can be a manager. So like this, one operator can have multiple access groups, but one access group can have only one application inside that and multiple portals. Any questions so far, guys? I'll talk about roles, but so far, do you have any questions?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Nikhila, one question.
Yes, Shashi.
When we, if you go to the, can you go back to the dev portal? So here, if you go back, like you said in your previous videos, that you cannot club the, like, can you club all of them and supposedly it doesn't access it, right? Like
Which
you cannot club multiple. If you go back one more time,
where to the operator ID?
yeah, in the access group.
Mhm.
Now, can you like create a single file and give multiple access to the same thing, like Go IBIBO author, Go IBIBO manager, like create a single
Operator
file
ID.
and
Single operator,
yeah,
you mean, right? Right? Ah, yes, as I gave
yes.
here. Yes, I can give
No, like, do you want? Can we club this all to a single
access group.
case?
You mean single access group.
Not access group in such, but multiple projects here itself in the access group itself. Can you club them together?
Within the
Like, let
access
us say
group,
Go
you
IBIBO.
within the access group you can't club, right? Because only one project you can mention here. So I can't
Okay,
give other projects.
okay.
So if I want access to multiple projects, multiple access groups I have to take like this. This gives me access
Yeah,
to
see,
DMs app. Mhm.
this is what I'm trying. Like, if we instead of giving like multiple access groups, can we have all this written in one file and
File in the sense it's one access group. It's not possible because you can't add
okay,
multiple applications here.
okay, got it.
Okay. So n number of
yeah, I
projects,
don't.
n number of access groups. Yes, please.
Yeah, actually, we have create portals, right?
Hmm.
So, do we have access to see portals like manager give access to portal to see the portal manager portal and we can edit that?
I didn't get your question. If you're a developer, you can do
Uh,
all those things.
okay, but it's not right to edit the manager portal and the admin portal like others portal. We can't edit, right? It's not correct way, right,
See,
Nikhila? I
I
mean,
see. I
if
being
they
a
give
developer,
access,
one second. I being a developer, I design manager portals, right? See, manager portal is not same in all the projects, right? So Gmail managers will have something else. Google Drive managers will have something else. Okay, it depends on the
okay,
application, right? Because some manager portals require reports. Some manager portal will have tickets to get approved and rejections. Some manager portals will have some reports, pie charts, bar charts. So we design manager portals, right? So
okay,
developer has access to it, and of course we edit it because that is a requirement for us, like what they want to see on the screen.
okay. We have limitation to edit, right?
No limitation. We create manager portals from the scratch. It's a screen
Okay,
designing. A portal is nothing but a screen, right? You design a screen completely
okay,
for them.
okay, Nikhila, got it.
So Nikhila,
Mhm.
portal is just like a launch screen, right?
Exactly. That's what portal is nothing but a
Okay.
screen. The launch
Yeah,
screen is portal.
yeah,
See, developer
yeah,
portal and admin portal are like by default given by Pega. Those are the launch screens. But manager
yeah.
portal, user portal is your choice. What you want your users to show is user portal. What you want to show your managers, manager portal. So we build them from the very scratch. Like based on what your client asks for, you build it.
Uh, so, Nikhila, I saw for some access group there were other portals like PX, Pega, Express, or something like
Yeah,
that.
Express is nothing.
Like,
See, PX Admin Studio is nothing but the admin studio you get. Express means App Studio. So Express is nothing but App Studio. This one is App Studio. So if you add
okay,
Express, you get App Studios.
So hi Nikhila, I have a
Hello.
question.
Hmm.
Yeah. So as you said, we can add multiple applications for an operator if and if the application is
On the
present on
same
the same
server.
server.
Right.
Yeah, but how can we know that whether the applications is on the same server or not? Suppose I thought of adding an application, but I'm not sure whether it is present on the same server or not.
You will get it here.
So
See, if,
how
if the
can we
coding was
check
done
it?
on the same machine, you will get it in the down arrow when you hit like this. The code will come right.
Oh,
You can
okay,
see like this.
okay,
So you can see I have task
okay,
tracker application, I have service request application, I have request approval application, theme Cosmos application. So whatever applications are there, you will see in the down arrow. No need to, check anywhere else.
okay, okay,
And
okay.
Nikhila, Indra here. So as you said, like only admins can edit and delete or something like that
Right, right,
operator ID, right?
right.
So this operator ID also comes under this access group also comes under that operator ID, and this access group we can add the ports only. Admin can only add these ports,
Exactly.
right?
See, even access groups also only administrators can create, update, or delete. Others cannot do that.
Okay. If see every time if I am a developer, I want to act, if I'm moving to that manager, I want to view that manager portal, so I have to request to admin person to give access to me.
Right.
Is it?
So how do you know if the person has admin access or not? See, you have some roles here, right? So if you have a role sysadmin 4, you are an administrator. That's it. Any person with this role can create, update, and delete operators, access groups, and all these things. Just simple. So in
Okay.
some real-time projects, every developer will have this. Some real-time projects we have an exclusive admin. Some real-time projects, we have a lead person in the team who will have this. So depends on the project.
Okay.
And Nikhila, do we have a session for application creation as well?
Of course,
We have
you are
application
going to
built on other application also, right?
you are going to build a new scratch application from day 4 of your training. So first 3 to 4 days will be a lot of theory because
Okay,
you should get introduced to all these things before you kickstart building an application. So only after the required rules are
agree.
taught to you, we start the practical thing.
Okay, okay.
Hi, Nikhila. I have one question.
Yes, please.
Um, so if the application is in the, I mean, if the application is on premises server, so we don't need to create, if the applications are on same server, then we don't need to create an operator. Then what about if the application is on cloud? You never know, so if it's
Whether
on the
it
same
is
servers
on
or not.
cloud or whether it is on premise, you have to create operators. Without operator, you can't access the application. It is
No,
mandatory.
when we have an application, but if it is on the same server, we can access the applications, right? But in server, we don't know, right, whether it's on the same server. I mean, if it is a
See,
cloud, we don't know whether they are on the same server or not, right?
see, if even on the cloud, they maintain servers, right? So they maintain something, cloud maintenance.
But we don't know, right, whether they have given the same server for all the applications for
See, if
that
they
organization.
have built it on the same server, you will get it in the down arrow for sure, because all the code is lying in the same, database and same things. So it will come like this. You need not check. But if you still have doubt, you can reach out to the admin team, engineering team, whatever you have, you can reach out to them. But ideally, it should come in the down arrow like this. It will automatically come here. Or you can even check under records, application. You will see all the list of applications which are present on a server. You will see here like this.
Okay, okay, thank you.
So they will automatically come because they use the same database also. Okay, that's the reason they're coming. They share the database as well.
Okay.
But if it's not coming in the down arrow there in the
Oh, see,
application, there is nothing
they,
you can do, right?
the discussion is going somewhere else. See, if that is the case, you have to reach out to your admin team, engineering team. They will debug it. Ideally, if they're on the same server, for sure it will come there.
No, that's what I'm saying. If it's not here, then we can assume there is. I mean, these are the only
Yeah, then they're
applications on
not
it.
sharing the server. If they're not coming
Yeah,
here, then they're not on the same server.
yeah.
Okay. Now, once again, a quick recap, guys, before we take a break. Operators, any person who wants to access Pega application, they have to register themselves in Pega. It is nothing but creating an operator ID for themselves in Pega. An operator ID contains your basic information, your personal information, your work related information, and your password. So, basic information like first name, last name, contact details. Work related information like your organization, division, your team, your reporting manager, your skills, your scheduled leave plan, and all those things. And finally, your password. This data is stored in a very important table called as PR underscore operators. It's a built in table of Pega. Now, in the operator ID, we have access group. It will grant you access to the project. So every project will have different access groups based on the roles in the project. Like one will be author, manager, developer, tester. Maybe you have approvers, reviewers. Different roles in the project will have different access groups. Suppose my project is a healthcare project. I will have Apollo colon nurse, Apollo colon doctor, Apollo colon patient, like this. Okay. If it's a banking project, you'll have different things depending upon the roles in the company. You will have different access groups. Now, what does an access group contain? Most importantly, the application name and the portal. So you can have only one application tagged here. You can't have multiple. Portal, yes, multiple you can give, but select one of them and make up them the default portal. Apart from this, you also have roles. We'll talk about it post break. So, any questions so far, guys?
Nicola, you'd be sharing that notepad which you are.
Yeah, yes. Like those who have already enrolled, you received the previous batch recordings, right? In that, the notepads, all of these are there. Okay, but I'm again going to create a new folder, the drive link, and I'm going to put all these things like recordings and notepads. Again, I'll be placing them. But ahead of the
Okay.
training, if you want to refer, it's already in the previous batch recordings, it's already there.
Sure. So that I need not take any notes there.
Right,
So
right. No need to take, it's all being shared. Okay. And now where can I see access groups in my dev portal? So operators were present under organization category, operators. Where can I figure out this access groups? Security. Okay, it's all about securing your application, right? So you are securing the application by giving access groups so that unauthorized person can't access your project. Suppose I am working on Go IBO, you are working on Task Tracker. You should not access my project. How do I control that? By giving an access group. Okay, so all these come under security in Pega. So if an interviewer asks you, can you explain me about the security in Pega? We have to talk about access groups, roles, privileges, role to objects, all these things which I'm going to teach you. So access group is here. Under security category, you will find access groups. You can see every project has multiple access groups like this. Because multiple roles you will have, right? You can see here request role has administrators, authors, managers, users. It depends on the project like this. Okay. Under security category, access group. So all this is mentioned here. You can check it later. Okay. And we'll come back. Okay, guys, please take a break for 10 minutes. It's 8:15 now. Let's connect back again at 8:25 and we'll resume on the next topics. I'll just go on mute and I'll pause my screen. Okay. So we are resuming after the break. Anybody, any queries on operators and access groups? Did you understand any queries on that? Okay, just a quick recap again. Operator ID. If you want to access any application, not only Pega, any application, okay, you should create a username and a password and register yourself into the project, right? Similarly in Pega, if you want to access any Pega application, you have to create an operator ID in Pega. Now, what is an operator ID? It is just a record in the database. So in the database, they have a table called as PR underscore operators where they maintain all your data. They maintain your first name, last name, email ID, so all your personal information, all your work related information, and most importantly, username and password and access group. So operator ID is nothing but it is just a username and password and some personal and professional information maintained by Pega to grant you access to that project. Okay. Now, what does an operator ID contain? Access group. What is the use of an access group? It will tell you which project you can access, what web page or the portal you see upon logging in. Because you may belong to X project, I may belong to Y project. So access group will contain the project name. Okay. So if there are 10 users who are working on Gmail, I will give them Gmail access group. If there are 5 users who are working on YouTube, I will give them YouTube access group. If there are 15 users who are working on Google Drive, I will give them Google Drive access group. Now, out of these 10, Gmail users, 5 of them are managers. So I will give them Gmail managers access group. 3 of them are users. So I will give them Gmail user access group. So like that, access group tells you which portal, which project I can access. Okay. Now, so there was a question in the interview which I came across. How can you create bulk operators in Pega? As I told you, first thing is like you never create from the database because this database is having a blob column. You can't insert data inside the blob column. So we never ever create from the database. Now, how do you create? From the Dev Studio itself, you have to write some piece of code, keep all the data in a file and consume the file. You will learn all these things down the line. Then there was another question in the interview. He told me that suppose I want to create operators, okay? But I am not an administrator. So how can you create operators if you are not an administrator was the question. So the answer to this is although you are not an administrator, still you are a developer, right? So you can write a piece of code which can consume the file and create operators. So that was the answer to it. Okay, you're not an admin, so you can't create like this. You can't, go here and say new operator I can't create like this because I'm not an admin, but I'm a developer. I can write some piece of code which can automatically create operators. So that way you can do. Any questions so far before we move to the next one?
Nikhila, one question.
Mm-hmm.
So in our operator ID, we need to mention our mail ID as well, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
and we need to mention manager also. So is it manager means manager's mail ID or manager's operator ID?
Manages operator ID.
Okay.
The manager's operator ID will come in the down arrow. If you click there, it will be visible in the down arrow. We just do this. It's also an operator ID.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Nikhila, can we control default portal for operator level or only access group level only we
Only
can
access
control
group
which
level, you can control the default portal. So you should be very careful, guys, because this access group will be given to multiple users, right? Suppose I have 10 users in my project. This was given to 10 users. So if you come and change anything here, it is going to affect all the 10 operators who are using this. As of now, you can see only Nikhila is using it. But let's say it's a very big project and 10 people are using it. Any changes made in the access group is going to impact all the 10 users. So we had a real time issue. So one person, he wanted the default portal to be user portal. He changed it, he saved it, and that's it. The entire team of developers were not able to log into the dev portal because he changed it in the access group itself. So be very careful when you change something in the access group. It will not affect only you, but entire team it's going to be affected. Mhm.
Nikhila,
Yes, please go ahead.
please can you repeat how can create bulk operators?
File consumption. So all that you will learn in detail later, but file consumption, you just have to keep all the data in a file and consume the file using file listeners and all. Last topics in the training, all that is last topics.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, yeah, please pause your questions. Let me move to the next level. So here you also have something called as roles, right? You have something called as roles. So role means just like what role you are playing in the project. Are you a manager? Are you a developer? Are you a tester? Are you a user? So we create a role. A role will not have any information. See, if you open any role, okay, there is no data inside it, nothing to enter. See, it's all empty. There's nothing inside it. Then what is the use of a role? Adding a role in an access group, what will it do when it itself doesn't have any info, right? Role itself is completely empty. Then what does it help you? How does it help you? What is the use of it? Simple. Those who are technical, you heard about flag variables, right? Like a flag variable means you will have a variable. If it is true, you say do this. If it is false, don't do this. Similarly, role. Okay. So roles are used like this, guys, even for non-technical people, I'm telling. Role means it's like a switch on and off. Okay. So I say that if any operator, okay, has a role, go IBBO colon sysadmin 4, grant him access to this screen or grant him access to this report or make this cell editable for him or make this button enabled for him. If the operator does not have this role, then this button should be disabled. This cell should be read only. This screen should not be visible. This report should be hidden. So like that, we write a piece of code. Okay. So when we write any code in Pega, code in the sense just, any conditions and logics in Pega, we put down a condition saying that if operator has this role, allow him to do this. If the operator doesn't have this role, don't allow him to do all these things. So like that, we use roles like a flag variable. Like if it is present, allow him. If it is not present, don't allow him. Like I told you, if this role is not present here, okay, people cannot create or edit and delete operators, access groups, and all those things. Okay, so role is like granting a permission or denying a permission or removing a permission. But just adding a role will not do anything. See, if I created a new role, let's say, like, let's say I created a new role, call it Go Vivo, call it dev team. Now, what is the use? Nothing, no use. When will this come into the picture? Suppose I'm building any logic in Pega, and there I wrote that this button should be visible if and only if operator has Go IBB colon dev team role. Then it will be useful. Okay. So adding a role has nothing to do. You have to use it somewhere in your logic. Then it will be useful. Okay. Now, any questions on roles? Super. So tomorrow's session, I'm going to ask you questions on operators, access groups, and roles. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
so this role has to be assigned to the operator, right?
Roles are assigned to access group. Access groups are assigned to operators.
Okay.
Okay. We'll have session only till 9 o'clock today, guys, because initial days it's a lot of theory. Okay, so I don't take more than 2 hours in the initial days. It's like lump sum theory you'll be learning. So as you keep start working on practical, it's quite comfortable for you to stretch till 3 hours. Otherwise, theory for 3 hours is like too much. So next topic is what is an application in Pega? Okay, this is the next one.
Quick question, Nikhila, on the
Yes,
roles.
yes, please.
In a real world scenario, on a production scenario, who generally creates or maintains the role? Is it just admin or does developers also do the
Only
application?
admins, operators, access groups, roles, only admins.
Okay.
But
And a
generally,
developer shouldn't even.
what we do is in real time, some projects, developers will also have admin access, or at least a lead person in the team will have admin access, because we can't go and bother admins for every small thing, right? So one of us will have that access so that we can also create the things.
Got it. Thanks.
Okay. Now, next topic is what is an application? You see, there's a small crosshair icon here, means I can open it. So I can open my application from here. Okay. Or you can also open your current application from, let me open it. So whenever you log in into any application, if they ask you what's your project name, what's your application name, you can see it here. My current project name is Go IBO. Okay. And you can say open application definition. Okay. Now, what is an application? It's nothing but a project. Okay. Now, what is a project? Project is nothing but you have all the code inside it, right? You have all the code, all the rules, functions, methods, reports, flows, validations, whatnot. You will keep everything. So, all the code is nothing but an application. So, application or a project is nothing but a collection of rules. Rules means anything executable, functions, methods, flows, validations, reports, decisions, services, file listeners, email listeners. All these are rules in Pega. Rules means the code that you write. Okay. So what is an application? Application is a collection of all these rules. That's it. So Go IBO application is a collection of some 100 rules. Gmail application is a collection of some 100 rules. YouTube is a collection of some rules. Google Drive is a collection of some rules. So end of the day, one project is nothing but you build some code inside it. That is what a project is all about, right? Application is nothing but just some code. Okay. Now, in theoretical terms or in Pega terms, what is an application? Application in Pega is nothing but a collection of rule sets. Okay, it's a collection of rule sets. I'm not saying rules. Okay, I'm saying rule sets. So, set of rules. So, application in Pega is nothing but a collection of rule sets. Set of rules. Okay, so why not directly rules and why rule sets again? So why don't you say Go applicable is the application of collection of 100 rules or 20 200 rules or 300 rules? Why are you saying rule sets? Why are you you know keeping them as a set, like a set, a block of rules. Why are you doing that? The reason is, if your application is just a collection of hundreds of rules, it's not so easy for us to maintain. Maintenance gets difficult for us, reusability becomes difficult for us. Okay, so in order to maintain, you have to organize yourself. Like, how do you organize yourself in day to day life? Let's say, you take your clothing. You have a certain set of clothing for office wear, certain set of clothing for party wear, certain set of clothing for for home. So you have a different set of, you organize yourself, right? The same way in real time, in terms of technology also, or in terms of a product and the rules also. We don't keep all the rules under one application and say, hey, this is my application. No, we organize them, we group them. So how do you group them? What kind of groups you create? Here a group is nothing but a rule set. Okay, so we create groups like this. We create one rule set for business rules like this. We create one rule set for integrations. Integrations means when you connect to any other external system to exchange data, we have integrations. Like GoIBO is connecting with Indigo or SpiceJet or Air India or Emirates, to get the flights information. So there you do integration. You connect with another system. The other system may or may not be Pega. Okay, so integrations. So like this, we have something called as layers in Pega, which I'll be teaching in the next session. So for every layer, you will be creating a rule set like this. Different rule sets we will be creating. So a rule set is nothing but collection of rules. Now, why are you creating rule sets? Why don't you dump all the rules under an application? Just to organize yourself, better maintenance. All business rules at one place, all integration rules at one place. I have even worked in projects where we used to create a separate rule set for UI rules. So all UI rules at one place, all business rules at one place. Business rules means functions, validations, flows, decisions, reports, and all. UI rules means screens. Integrations means connecting with external systems, so REST, MQs, and all that. So every project has a different style. Okay, so we create sets, rule sets, keep rules under them, and we organize them in a better way. Okay, and by keeping like this, you can also have reusability. Like one rule set I want to share with another project, I can extract it and I can share it with other project easily. I can extract it. If rule set was not there, out of hundreds of rules, I have to identify which rules I have to pick to extract. It will be difficult for us. Okay, so the reason we have a rule set is just for easy maintenance, just organizing the rules in a better way. Okay, that's the reason we have rule sets in Pega. So application in Pega is nothing but actually a collection of rule sets. Now, what is present inside a rule set? You see this icon? Open. Nothing, it's just a collection of rules. See, Go IBO is a rule set. I have 170 rules under it. Rules means the code that you execute. Functions, methods, classes, active, reports, decisions, whatnot. All these are rules in Pega. So let's take another rule set. This one. It has only 4 rules under it. Take another rule set. It has only 3 rules under it. Like this. An application is Pega is a collection of rule sets. Each rule set has lot of rules under them. Rule means anything executable. Function, method, report, decision, flows, all these are rules in Pega. Let's have a look at the document once. Application, set of rule sets. Rule set of rules. Rule, anything which you can execute is a rule, a piece of code that you execute. Functions, methods, classes, flows, reports, decisions, etc. Okay. Now, can I call an operator, access group, roles, portals, all these things as rules? Portal is a rule, okay? But operators, not a rule. Access group, not a rule. Roles, not a rule. They're not rules. Why? Because you don't execute them, dear. You don't execute them. Operator is a record in the database which contains your username, password, your time zone, your manager, and XYZ information. What do you do with that? When a person logs in, you'll validate the data and you allow him to log in and do his work in the portal. So operator is not a rule. It's a data. It's a record in the database only. Similarly, access group, it is not a rule. You maintain a record in the database, and whenever a person logs in, you validate. Does he has this access group? Just this should be visible to him, or this portal should come. You check that. So operators, access groups are not rules. They are data instances, just records in the database. We call them as data instances. They don't execute. They are only just used for data validation, data comparison, data processing. That's it. We don't execute them. Okay, just a small example, guys. So let's say, for example, see, okay, take Paytm. See, this is a screen, this is a rule. Okay, whereas you see the plans listed here. Is this the rule? No, this is a data instance. Okay, whereas if you say register, some screens will come, you will enter the data and all that. That is a rule. Okay, and if you say, proceed with recharge button, the recharge process will happen and the transaction will happen. Those are all rules. Whereas these things are not rules. These are called as data instances. Similarly, your operator ID, access group, and all that. They are not rules. They are just records of data from the database. That's it. Okay. Is this a record of data coming from the database? Yes. All this is stored in the database and it is coming and displaying on the screen. Similarly, operators, access groups, or records in the database which we just use to display on the screen, do for validation and all those things. They are not rules in Pega. Any questions so far, guys? So there's a question in the WhatsApp. Somebody was asking me, can two different access groups have same roles? Of course they can have. What is there in that? Suppose there is a role called as sysadmin 4. Okay, developer needs sysadmin 4, administrator also needs sysadmin 4. You can map it. You can map. What is there in that? You can map. Okay.
Nikhila, I have a question.
Yes.
You showed one access group application, right? I can see that it is built on some other application. Is that mean we are utilizing the existing rule from that built on application in the current
Exactly.
application?
Exactly right. See, today you are building a project. Maybe your project is some healthcare or banking or payroll, whatever it is. But you are building your project using Pega, right? So your project is built on Pega. So if you see this, your built on application is Theme Cosmos. Theme Cosmos is nothing but Pega's theme. The theme, that look and feel of the portal and all these things, the UI related things come from Theme Cosmos. So if you open this, this is built on top of Pega rules, the actual Pega software, you know, this Pega tool.
Okay.
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 Now this will not be built on anything. So all of our
So this is the
projects,
base application.
the base project. So all of our projects will be built on some other project. Okay, so they are like built on. So they consume those rule sets and the rules under them.
So, like, how are we deciding the version of the application here? Like, maybe this Pega Rules 8 is taking from the
This
Pega
is
existing project.
See, this version we don't decide. When you build a project in Pega, based on the Pega version you are using, that will automatically come. If you're using 8.7, this is something different. If you're using 8.8, something different. So you can see this is 8.7, so all 8.7s will be here.
Okay.
So it was automatically picked based on the software version.
Okay. Okay. And we can control our version for our application, right?
For your application, you can control. So versioning, I'll come back. Okay. As of now, only we are
Okay.
actually discussing only about application. I just told it's a collection of rule set. Rule set versioning, we will talk about it again.
Sure. Sure.
Okay. So any questions on this, guys? So every application is basically a collection of rule sets. Every rule set is a collection of rules. Okay, and one application can be built on other application. Okay, so that there's also a possibility like that. Your applications will be built on another application which is of the same company. Okay, and that is built on. End of the day, you all land upon Pega rules. In between, you can have multiple built on applications. Yes, any other questions? That's it for today from my side, guys. Do you have any questions? We have 10 more minutes.
Nikhila?
Yes, Indija, you're
So
audible.
yeah, all these rules are predefined, right? Is there any condition like this many rules only we can add for a single application?
No, nothing like that. See, it is, how can
Okay.
we say that it is, you take Java, .NET, any technology or tool. They never say that you should only create this many rules. Nothing like that.
So if I am new to this Pega project, I am not sure about this rule is for what and this rule is for what. Uh, can we see the rules and definitions in somewhere in this UI?
See, if you're
Uh,
not sure what is the purpose of each rule, there's a best practice that in every rule you have to write down a description and usage. Okay, so if you fall in a good project, people might have written this, and from this you will understand. In some projects, people don't maintain this, so then it is very difficult for you to identify why and how this is being used. So in that case, you have to check where it is being referred, like where it is being used. You have to backtrack and figure out, which is quite difficult, but you will get habituated to it. As you keep working on the project, you will slowly learn the things. Otherwise, the best practice is you have to write down all the info here so that newbies who come into the project will look at this and understand why and what's.
Can we create custom rules, Nikhila?
Custom rules means, what do you mean by custom rules? Pega has a lot of rule types. Okay, we'll come to all those things. Only those rule types we can create. We'll come to them.
Okay, sure. I was able to install Pega based on the link which you shared, Nikhila.
Okay.
But with the initial user ID password, did you give the details anywhere? I'm sorry.
So that's okay. If installation is good, fine. When I start the practicals, I'll tell you what are the credentials and all. Don't worry about that. Okay. So even if you log in, there's nothing to do. So when we start the practicals, I'll tell you what are the default credentials to log in and all those things. Okay.
And Nikhila?
Yes, Shankar.
Yeah, yeah. I have installed the Pega, and as you mentioned, all the data and operator ID will be saved in the DB, right? PG admin.
Yes. So whenever you install
And
Pega,
for
guys, by default, Tomcat server, PG admin for database, Java JDK, and Pega is getting installed. All four are getting installed by default.
yeah, but for me, that PG admin 4 is not opening. Is there any way to activate or how we can
See,
see that
PG
operator
admin
ID, all the
4
tables?
will not come until and unless you start Pega server. Only after you click on this Pega startup, the
Yeah,
connections will all get
yeah, it's
established, and then we'll open the PG admin 4 server. If it is not opening, don't
yeah.
worry.
This
When
is
we come to that topic, I will teach you how to connect to it and all. So there is a process to
okay.
connect to the database. I'll be covering all that when we come to data classes and all that
Okay,
concepts.
okay.
Okay. So if no more questions, so that's it for today, guys. And this is the second trial session we are having. And tomorrow would be the third trial session. So for those of you who haven't enrolled, okay, so tomorrow is the last trial session. From that next session, we will have a separate link. Okay, this will link will work only till tomorrow. And on Sunday, we don't have any session, guys, this week because I want all the enrollments to complete and all the installations to be done before the next session. Because starting from mostly next Friday or Saturday, we'll start the practical. So those who have enrolled recently, all those things, make sure you have all everything ready by next Friday so that we can start the practicals and all. Okay. And those who have already enrolled, I hope you have the previous batch recordings. please listen to current recording and at least next 3 sessions from the previous batch recordings on this weekend. Okay, so that by the time we have the next session, you should even forget the content so that I can again revise you. Okay, so make sure you have a gap of at least 1 week between the recordings, previous batch recordings versus my live session, so that you learn, you forget, and again I teach you the things. So that way you will remember the things in a much better way. So that's it for today, guys. Do you have anything else before we drop off?
Nikhila, I have a small doubt.
Yes, Yamini.
Who will create that application name or project name?
So generally we have lead system architects, lead people in the team who has a good amount of experience. They will do all those things. The junior level developers will come into the picture only after the application, the operators, access groups, and everything is created. Then we create something called as case type, which is the life cycle of the project. After all this is done, then these guys will come into the picture.
Okay. Thank you, Nikhila.
Okay, super. Okay, guys, then if no more questions, I hope you understood everything. Let's connect on tomorrow's session again at the same time. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye bye.
You will be sharing this video in
I will be uploading the recording, but it takes me time because I have to convert it to MP4 and then upload it. So I'll do.
Okay, Nikhila. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you so much,
Thank you,
all. Have
Nikhila.
a nice day. Bye
Thank you.
Have a
bye.
good day.
Good day.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Nikhila.
Nikhila. Yeah,
Thank
bye-bye.
you. Thank you so much.